Coming up in the nationwide world at noon for this afternoon, Wednesday, November 4, 2020. U.S. Democratic candidate Joe Biden is now leading in 4 key states as America and the world continues to observe keenly a very tight battle for the presidency of the United States. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says 99 or 48% of the island's nursing homes are compliant with COVID-19 protocols. And in sports, businessman Chris Williams is head of the new body that will oversee the running of the National Premier Football League. The details after the break. U.S. Democratic candidate Joe Biden is now leading in 4 key states as America and the world continues to observe keenly a very tight battle for presidency of the United States. Mr. Biden has flipped the lead in one of the key states, Michigan, that was secured by President Donald Trump in the 2016 elections. President Trump is still leading comfortably in Pennsylvania. U.S. media are reporting it could take days to conclude counting in the election they say is still too close to call. Stevian Simmons reports.
5 states remain toss-ups: Georgia, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. Biden is leading in all those states except Pennsylvania, where Trump is leading by nearly 600,000 votes. Election officials in each state are urging voters to remain calm and allow all ballots to be counted. NBC's Tom Costello outlined the task faced by electoral workers in some of the key states yet to be declared.
Pennsylvania, to begin with, they still have about 1 million mailed-in ballots to count. They paused the counting overnight. Absentee ballots in Pennsylvania postmarked by Election Day can arrive by Friday and be counted. In Georgia, there are some key counties paused voting overnight. We had some delays because of a problem with the software on a voting tabulation machine, also a water main break in an arena where they were counting votes. The mailed-in ballots must have arrived by yesterday. Arizona, they have 5 days in Arizona to correct their signatures on their ballots. They will not finish counting a vote until November 10th. Nevada, mailed-in votes postmarked by Election Day can still be counted until the 12th. They don't anticipate an update until tomorrow.
So far, Biden has 224 of the 270 Electoral College votes needed to win the election. Trump has 213. President Trump held on to Florida, a key state that the Democrats were seeking to flip. He seized on the win, falsely declaring victory at the polls.
We were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good. This is a record. We won states that we weren't expected to win. Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by a lot. And this is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. Frankly, we did win this election.
On Twitter this morning, he posted that his early leads are magically disappearing and baselessly claimed surprise ballot dumps are being counted. Twitter put a warning label on that tweet, saying it's disputed and possibly misleading. Trump supporters in Florida early this morning rallied in the street, celebrating his success.
I'm here to support our president. I think he's done a fine job, despite the pandemic, despite it all. He's caring about the American people where no other politician has cared, because Donald Trump is not a politician.
But Trump's Democratic rival, Joe Biden, urged patience and expressed confidence in a win.
We're still in the game in Georgia. That's not one we expected. And we're feeling real good about Wisconsin and Michigan. It's going to take time to count the votes. We're going to win Pennsylvania. Yes. It's not my place or Donald Trump's place to declare who's won this election. That's the decision of the American people.
Stevian Simmons for Nationwide News.
In the meantime, Assistant Professor of Politics and Policy Studies at Elon University in North Carolina, Dr. Damian Blake, says pollsters and the media underestimated President Trump's ability to pull out voters.
You actually have two America. Talking about a red America and a blue state America. What really kind of gives some account for what happened yesterday and continues to happen is that President Trump has been able to turn out his voters in the droves on the day. And the other thing is that when you talk about Republican support, Republicans are not necessarily tied around the personality of who's there, but the Republican idea, taxes, the economy. A lot of blue-collar workers, even blue-collar black male workers, vote for Donald Trump. Issues around abortion, policing, gun rights.
He says pollsters must now re-examine and adjust how they conduct surveys.
It seems that both the pollsters and the established media, again this time overlooked the impact of Donald Trump in getting votes out on the day. His turnout machinery should not have been underestimated. Pollsters now will have to ask themselves the question in terms of their methodology. Is their methodology pinpoint accurate in terms of making phone calls on landlines, for example? They may need to move more onto an online platform.
Dr. Damian Blake, Assistant Professor of Politics and Policy Studies at Elon University in North Carolina, and political economist at the University of Cambridge and a senior fellow at the Johannesburg Institute for Advanced Study, Professor John Rapley, says a close election is advantageous to U.S. international relations.
The United States as traditional allies, they would have liked to have seen a decisive repudiation of Trump. They didn't get it. So, in a sense, no matter, even if Joe Biden wins the election in the end, it's still a defeat because Trumpism is clearly not going away. So I think it's going to be that kind of, as I say, that policy immobility will be negative for the global economy. It'll certainly be negative for the American economy. And I think that it will it'll give another few years for China to increasingly fill the gaps that are being left overseas.
Professor John Rapley, political economist at the University of Cambridge and a senior fellow at the Johannesburg Institute for Advanced Study. They were speaking on Nationwide this morning. Now, Global Jamaica Diaspora Council representatives for the Southern United States, Dr. Alan Cunningham, says the community is expressing disappointment at the results unfolding so far in the U.S. presidential race.
It's very shocking and a little bit disappointed. I know from my community, or my friends and my associates have expressed some serious disappointment because of the turnout of not only the Senate, but as well the House as well, and just the general election. Right now we are at 224, 213, and a very, very, very tight race.
He says many are already accepting defeat.
Well, pretty much everybody throwing the towel. Everybody think that the Democrats is going to lose. It's not a good sign. It's not a good feeling. And it's about our level of expectation. We thought that by now the Democrats would have been in the clear because we thought that Florida and Texas would have been under the umbrella of the Democrats. So that's not the case.
Meanwhile, he says the president is appealing to his base by falsely asserting election fraud.
That was expected because that's who the president is. Sorry to say it like that, but that's the truth. The president will make statements unfounded, and that's what he does best. And so I guess when he makes a statement like that, and for those who believe in him, they'll just believe that it is gospel. So he is catering to his base. And to the surprise of us, we didn't understand that his base was so large, so huge.
Dr. Alan Cunningham, Global Jamaica Diaspora Council representative for the Southern United States, speaking on Nationwide this morning with Atona Thomas and Daniel Archer. To local news now, People's National Party presidential candidate Lisa Hanna says there should be sanctions going forward for party members who have willingly used public platforms to smear others in the PNP. She was speaking at a PNP media briefing this morning on the presidential elections.
Going forward, there has to be sanctions, especially for members who you can identify who willingly go into the media and decide to discredit any candidate without proof and willingly do it on platforms, willingly do it whether it is in the media, on platforms, in social media, and otherwise. And we have to learn as adults, as collective members of a movement, working to build a mission for this country, that the best thing that we can do is to bring love to a situation.
Hannah's opponent, Mark Golding, also expressed that going forward, party members should be more disciplined in how they present themselves to the public.
And generally speaking, going forward, we have to build a culture of respect for each other in how we discuss issues, and also a respect for the need for discipline in how we present ourselves to the outside world, so to speak, the wider public. And that is something I think we need to work on assiduously going forward.
Meanwhile, both candidates are expressing readiness ahead of Saturday's polls.
I am as ready as I need to be for Saturday. And I'm pleased with my campaign team. We've done the groundwork, and I'm looking forward to Saturday.
Lisa Hannah, Mark Golding says the feedback on the ground has been positive.
I'm very satisfied with the way the campaign has been going, the way the team has been performing, the response we've had on the ground and nationally as well to the campaign. Very positive. We're looking forward to Saturday.
Mark Golding. They were both speaking at a PNP media briefing this morning on the presidential elections. Just over 3,350 delegates are eligible to vote. Voting will get underway at 10 a.m. and close at 3 p.m. at 12 locations across the country. The PNP says it's anticipated that results will be announced at 5 p.m. at the PNP headquarters in Kingston. There has been one death from COVID-19 over the last 24 hours, with the country's death toll now at 215. That's according to the Ministry of Health and Wellness's latest COVID-19 clinical management summary. The ministry has also confirmed 30 new cases in the latest test results. 565 samples were tested in the last 24 hours. This brings the total number of cases to 9,326. According to the ministry's latest advisory for November 3, a majority of the cases are from St. James. 11 cases were recorded in St. James. This is followed by Kingston and St. Andrew with 4 cases. Portland, St. Catherine, St. Mary and Trelawney recorded 3 cases. Manchester, St. Anne and Westmoreland recorded 1 case each, while Clarendon, Hanover, St. Elizabeth and St. Thomas recorded no cases. The ministry says 38 more people have recovered, bringing recoveries to 4,704. There are 4,288 active cases. The meantime, 80 people are being hospitalized, 11 are moderately ill, and 6 are critical. 99 or 48% of the island's nursing homes are compliant with the COVID-19 protocols. All the nation's nursing homes were again inspected following an outbreak of coronavirus in recent weeks in 3 social institutions. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton made the disclosure during a statement in the House of Representatives yesterday at the Jamaica Conference Centre.
Some 236 such facilities have been inspected, including 203 nursing homes, 13 infirmaries, 14 children homes, and 6 rehabilitation institutions. Of that number, 99 nursing homes, or 48.8%, were found to be compliant with the COVID-19 protocols. The same obtained for 7 of the infirmaries, 4 children homes, and 2 of the rehabilitation institutions.
Dr. Tufton says 2 privately run nursing homes in Manchester and Clarendon have been ordered closed for breaches under the nuisance regulations. Dr. Tufton also says of 43 prisons inspected by the public health team, only 12 have been compliant with the COVID-19 protocols.
In the case of prisons and lockups, 43 of the 106 in the country have been inspected so far, with 12 meeting the COVID-19 standard, Madam Speaker, while the other 31 have been given a timeline within which to become compliant.
Dr. Christopher Tufton, Health Minister, speaking yesterday in the House of Representatives. Meanwhile, Dr. Tufton says 43 of the 87 positive cases at the Golden Age home in Vineyard Town, Kingston, have recovered from COVID-19. Of the 620 residents and staff members tested over a 3-day period, 87 results had returned positive for COVID-19, while 533 were negative. He further noted that that all residents and staff at the facility continue to be monitored closely, and the compound is managed with enhanced infection prevention and control procedures. And that's the news. Sports is next.